Now, we just did a story recently, Rob, about this whole Crocodile Dundee thing probably not being real, pretty much. Well, first, we looked up a story that claimed that the movie wasn't real. Kind of one of the stories claiming that they were pretty sure it was a commercial for Super Bowl Sunday put on by the tourism board. This could still be the case. We don't know until Sunday, probably.
Yeah, just for full disclosure, that story comes out of the Brisbane Times, Australia. So, and they didn't even have a definite answer themselves.
But what we found when we started digging through history was that there's basically the same amount of evidence and the same evidence both ways that it could be either or. First of all, of course, the obvious is that Rimfire Films is a real film company, and they do own the rights to the Crocodile Dundee property. Now, I did check that out. So that is legit, but it's not on their slate, which is odd. But this movie did just come in under the radar if it's a movie, quote unquote, which isn't impossible. That shit happens. But there's also another part of this, and people are hanging on the fact that Chris Hemsworth is the tourism ambassador for Australia. And not only that, there's a shit ton of Australian actors in this ad. It shows a lot of, if you've watched the 4 teasers that are out there, it shows a lot of locations and stuff for Australia. So a lot of people have been under the impression, or at least under the idea, that this is probably a build-up to an Australian tourism ad. But there's some things that kind of just, like we said, are the same evidence, but if you look at it 2 different ways, which we like to do here at Midnight's Edge, there's a whole nother way to look at it. First of all, one question you got to say is, why would they release all these ads before the Super Bowl? If they're going to show all these on the day of the Super Bowl, it doesn't make any sense. It would kind of defeat the purpose and ruin the illusion before it happens. Am I right, Rob?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, if they're trying to build up this illusion of this all day during the Super Bowl, we've already talked about it at nausea for the last week and a half or so here, or whatever it's been now. There's already this impression that it is. So if it is, it kind of ruined the whole gag and whatever. But if this is a legit movie, which it very well could be, and let's get into this a little bit now. What I found here, and I'm sorry this is from Fox News, but it's from Fox News Entertainment, and the story is dated back in April of 2016, and it's about a Crocodile Dundee remake being in the works. And it mentions that the money for the film could possibly come from the tourism board. Now, if we remember The Lord of the Rings with Peter Jackson, I know they worked out a lot of deals with the tourism board of New Zealand for that film. I think we get a bunch of tax breaks and all that kind of shit. That pretty much tells me that this could be a real deal. And yeah, it's being paid for by the tourism board, but at the same time, it's a legit movie to both promote tourism in Australia and at the same time bring this character back to the limelight, make some money off it, however you want to put it. Pump some money into the economy in 2-3 different ways. But just what makes us wonder about this is the name of the actual, the chair of the tourism board, Rick Allert, in this article from back then mentions Chris Hemsworth, actually. But their idea at that time was to either reboot it with Chris Hemsworth in the lead or call it Son of Mick Dundee with Hemsworth as the son. Now, instead, in this version that we're getting in this preview, he's the son of Dundee's friend in the first few films. So he's not playing the Dundee character in this film. If it's a film, what we're supposed to be getting here is this is an illegitimate child of Mick Dundee when he was still living in the USA. Mick Dundee's gone back home, and I'm sure if you've seen the trailer, you get the idea of what the story is. He's missing, and his son's trying to find him. Perfect setup to see all kinds of locations in Australia. So again, it could go both ways. But again, this article though does lend some credence to the fact that this could very well be a full-blown movie. And then one could sit there and say, well, if that's the case, then how could they afford all these actors? Well, again, like we just said, most of them are pretty much Australian actors, to where I'm sure they did it for next to nothing.
Yeah. They would probably get scale for something like this.
They might even just donated their time and probably could write it off. It's hard to say, but I mean, the whole point is this just digging around and finding this, and there's a few other people have been poking up and saying, hey, wait a minute, this could actually be a real thing. Because we just kind of believed that it wasn't.
And we should know that Tourism Australia, that's the name of the tourist board for Australia, they have not confirmed that this is their ad campaign. They issued a no comment on as they call it, concerns of potential backlash for using public funding to dupe excitable Crocodile Dundee fans. But this very well may be an ad for Tourism Australia, but this could also be something what they call a proof of concept. A lot of times what will happen is, if you want to make a movie, you'll go out and you'll do a 7 or 8 minute reel. It shows you, it shows the actors, it shows some of the story, it shows what the look of the film is going to be, what the overall tone of the film is going to be. Yes, this might be an ad for Tourism Australia, but this also might be a sneaky way of doing a proof of concept for something like this.
It's a lot like, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when I say a backdoor pilot.
Yeah.
When they make like a TV movie or a spin-off off of a show and they do what's called a backdoor pilot, where it's kind of almost tricking you into thinking it's something else, but if it does well, then their plan is to spin it off into something real or a TV show or what have you.
The best example of that is Simon Earth from Star Trek.
Right, or even V.
Yeah. Another thing, though, is, like I said, this has been done before. Remember Deadpool? That test footage that was done, and that was actually leaked online, and nobody really is fessing up to who leaked it. They say it's Ryan Reynolds, but also, like you said, the Griswolds from the hotel ad a number of years ago.
Yeah, there was an ad a few years back before the reboot of Vacation. What was it? Ed Helms was in it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Ed Helms and Christina Applegate. Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, they actually did it was like a 15-20 minute ad thing altogether when you watch the full-blown ad online, but they did little snippets of it on TV, and it almost at first made you think you were going to get another National Lampoon's Vacation film with the Griswolds, and it turned out to be this ad for hotels. But that was pretty blatant. I'm having a hard time seeing the tourism really stick out in these trailers, and that also makes me wonder. But then there's the other part of it to where the credits at the end just have the long list of all these actors in it that are in the commercial or trailer, what have you, and an executive producer credit for Paul Hogan. And then later it came out that the director was a guy named Steve Rogers, who I guess is a big commercial director. So there's another thing leaning towards a commercial.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean a commercial director can't be, make the jump either. So.
Yeah. A lot of guys direct commercials for, and a lot of guys who used to be direct.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys who did direct motion pictures do direct commercials again. Josh Trank. And but like I said, we're gonna find out Sunday. Super Bowl here is Sunday. We're gonna find out what the deal with this is.
Yeah, what do you guys think about this? Maybe it's
real. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We're gonna find out soon enough, though.
And it's a comedy, and what they show in this trailer, they could have been filming it for the last month or so, and it's not like it's gonna have a ton of special effects. To get it out by June is very doable.
Oh, yeah.
It's an action comedy. I'm sure it doesn't have a ton of stunts or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it has a few, but knowing what we know of the Crocodile Dundee movies, it's going to be more about the comedy than the action.
Well, like I said, if this is an actual movie. So.
Right. It looks like they put a lot into it if it's not. So I guess we got to give them credit for that, because at first it looked pretty stupid, I will say that, but as the teasers got going, I kind of got into them a little bit. There's some moments that made me giggle, and I know I heard you giggle when you were watching them too. So
yeah. Like I said, if this isn't a movie, I'm starting to wish it was.
So. Yeah. I'm not like a huge Crocodile Dundee fan, but I like them. I like especially the second one. But I didn't hate the third movie either, like a lot of people did. I thought it was all right. I think it was great, but it was like, it's a natural extension of what would you expect, and it's a little bit, more family oriented. But now this one seems like it's taking it a bit back more to the edgier first two films. Yeah. If this is real.
Yeah. So, well, like I said, we're gonna find out Sunday. So
yeah.
Either way. So let us know what you guys think in the comments about this.